Welcome back to Blood Bowl 2. I'm Kyle,
And I'm Jay.
and today we're going to talk about Chaos teams. First team we're going to talk about is a Chaos Standard team.
Oh, and what a team we got here. We got our standard pickups, which are three re-rolls here, Apothecary, and, this time around we got a little bit of extra for some fan factor. Looking at the top, from most important to least important, we got our Chaos Warriors. Not a lot in the skills department, but movement speed 5, strength 4, 3 agility, 9 armor, they're sticking around with that 9 armor. Now these guys are tough. They have access to general and strength trees, and also mutations. Once you get these guys built up and you get mighty blow and claws on them, these are going to be your real player killers in the late game.
Yeah, they're pretty nice to have. The movement speed doesn't really hurt them too much. The agility doesn't really hurt them too much. They're a pretty all-around player. Pretty good.
Yeah, strength 4, armor 9 though, they're pretty bashy.
All right, next up we got the glue for a Chaos team.
Yeah, the Beastmen. These guys, 6 movement speed, 3 strength, 3 agility, 8 armor. They're about as good as elves can get. Plus, they got the added ability of picking up mutations, access to the strength and general trees, as well as horns for your last minute blitz actions to knock down some bigger players. Pretty strong in general.
Uh, Normally, we like to poke fun at some of the linemen and stuff and call them white bread. These guys, I think, are anything but that.
Yeah, these are toast.
Yeah, these are peanut butter. They got the whole team sticking together.
Yeah, they're pretty strong. Probably one of my favorite basic line units for the price. 60,000 is not very much for a player.
And up next, we have a Chaos Bashy team.
All right. Wonderful Bashy team here. And we're not racking too many rerolls because these players are freaking expensive. But we are rocking Apothecary and a little bit of fan factor that's going to earn us some cash to keep this team afloat. Hopefully to pick up some rerolls in the future. Starting off at the top of the list, our big Bashy here with a 5, 2, and 8. Sitting the Minotaur. Probably one of the least talked about players in all Blood Bowl there. One of the weaker big guys, but it's definitely worth to have him on this team, especially since he gets access to mutations and strength. He's already got Mighty Blow, he's got Horns, Frenzy, Thick Skull. Once he picks up Claws, he's going to be a killer. He's going to take some players down. If you're lucky enough to get an attribute skill, put it in strength and make him even that more devastating, or armor to keep him on the field. Like all big guys, he's got the wonderful loner wild animal traits, which always hurts the bigger players, but it's something that's part of the team.
I think what you
Rocking
mean
it
to
at
say is
100.
they hurt you when you need them the most.
Yeah, rocking it at 150K. He's pretty pricey, but he's our big guy.
Yeah, I mean, the 150K is kind of, steep. And the 2 agility, like, this isn't a guy you're going to have running the ball. He's there to do one thing, and that's smash other players.
Yeah, with Horns and already a strength 5, he's gonna move in there with strength 6 and Frenzy, and he's gonna really take down some players. He's a lot stronger than he seems on this team.
Alright, next up we got our Chaos Warriors, and we're rocking 4 of them on this team.
Yeah, this is our front line here. This is gonna be what the backbone of the team is. It's getting over there and beating up your weaker players. Again, as we said with the first team, strength 4, 9 armor. They're sticking around with access to mutations, mighty blow claws, and block if you can get it on there.
And they're one of the cooler looking units, if I do say so myself.
I agree.
And because there are so few units in this,
We're gonna recap on these guys here a little bit, and on this Bashy team here, you're gonna want to pick up block as soon as possible and mighty blow if you can get it. Mighty blow on strength 3 doesn't seem that important, but it'll make a difference in the long run.
yeah, that quickly becomes strength 4, if you're blitzing
Yeah.
on that attack, so that's something to think about. This, I think, is where this is a team that benefits from how I usually talk about grouping players together. Because if your front line is 2 Chaos Warriors and a Minotaur, that's already good enough. But now you have 4 of those Chaos Warriors and a Minotaur, and you have all these Beastmen here to just run the ball, you know, make a box around themselves and run it into the end zone. All you have to do with this half of your team is close off their important players and just either sideline them or just beat the crap out of them.
Yeah. And if you're lucky enough to get guard on a few of those Chaos Warriors, they can really protect everything around them.
Okay, and last up we have our Snowball team.
And as all our favorites here, snowball teams tend to be some of the funnest here. And we got 3 re-rolls, an apothecary, 9 fan factor always to make that money, 1 assistant coach, and a cheerleader. Most of our money is tied up in that sideline there, so it leaves minimal money to put together a team. So we're running all beastmen here. This is a really fun build. They all have a lot. This is similar to an elf build. They all have a lot of movement speed, a decent agility, decent strength, decent armor, and with that ability horns there, they're going to be putting some players down. And you can start moving into some of your more expensive players as you're gaining fan factor, because this team is good enough just like this. Those other players aren't really necessary, but as you pick them up, the team's just going to get better and better.
Yeah, I actually run a snowball team just like this. It was one of the first ones that I've ever built personally, and I think it's one of the funnest ways to play.
Yeah, because you're not putting everything up front, and this is where you get some really like all-star linemen on your team.
Yeah, you can get some really unique things here. You know, obviously you get the dodge and the block. You know, you get those skills or whatever. And guard, you mentioned earlier, is really useful. But the best thing about this team is everybody can move. Everybody's got just enough strength and agility to pick up the ball if they need to, or take at least a little hit. You know, the armor value is not terribly low, so not everybody's getting injured right away. And then the horns thing, you got to keep that in mind. Whenever you start closing off the end of your turn, that last blitzer is going to have a +1. So if you surround them with all these guys who are mobile, and then you're adding that +1 at the end of your run, somebody's going to get hurt. And especially if you play somebody that isn't bashy, if you do catch up an elf team or, you know, Skaven or, you know, God forbid somebody's playing a halfling team, they're going to get hurt. So this is an extremely fun way to play.
Yeah. If you're looking to get in chaos, this is a pretty inexpensive way to do it.
Yeah, like you said, even if you play the tabletop, this is a pretty inexpensive way to do it. But you know, these are our recommendations. We'd love to hear your guys. If you have any ideas for any team builds, go ahead and put them in the comment section below, and we respond to all of our comments. So, thanks for watching.